All right, welcome everyone to the Verified Show. We appreciate everyone who's tuned in for all of our past episodes. I got an exciting episode today with my boy Lovish. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Excited for the episode.
It's gonna be good, man. It's been a crazy kickoff to the new year. I mean, we're already in March. We just got done with Denver. We got a lot of the big events that are coming. What's your overall sentiment right now in Web3? Now that we've kind of gotten a little bit into 2025.
In 2025, yeah, I
Yes.
mean, it's pretty much excited. I've been in Web3 developing on blockchain for past 1 year to be exact. And pretty much it has been insane. Like I've seen a bull cycle, now it's gonna be a bear cycle. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it. How different companies and different startups and different technologies adjust themselves for a bear cycle. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like you've been a Web3 for a year, but you've also been a developer for quite much longer than that in Web2.
Yeah.
My favorite question I like to ask my guests is what was that turning point for you to transition from Web2 to Web3? What about Web3 that was intriguing enough to say, all right, I'm going to look into decentralization and actually learn how to code in this world?
Yeah, so I've been developing different softwares for like couple of years. Been into mobile development, coded a couple of SaaS applications, ChatGPT wrappers. Then I went and I got a job in an enterprise, and then I was into enterprise software solutions. But the point where I decided to challenge myself is when I actually heard about how the developers is kept on increasing in the Web3 space, and how the technology is well known now, and a lot of developers are jumping into it, and it has now become somewhat of a developer friendly to start in Web3. That was the time where I decided, okay, I need something different than just traditional software development, and I started to look forward for resources in Web3, and then straight jumped into it. I guess the best way to learn in Web3 is actually participating in hackathons. That is, I think that's the, because there is like 48 hours a week max.
Yeah.
And because of this timeline deadline, a lot of things you can able to learn quickly. I definitely recommend it if someone wish to start their journey in Web3.
Yeah, hackathons are great. I mean, there's large scale ones, there's small hacker houses. I mean, everything in between. It's all about education, right? That's the emphasis. Now, granted, we're not going to be able to build a full scale project that can be, go to market, right, and start getting investments
Yeah.
within that 48 window. But what about like now specifically within Solidity? And I guess why choose EVM? What is attractive? Because there's a lot of other chains out there, right? Lots of them with their own languages. Some of them are doing quite well, but what about Ethereum and the EVM ecosystem was attractive for you?
See, Ethereum remains the foundation, right? Ethereum is the foundation for smart contract development. Yeah, I'm completely convinced that there has been a lot of competition these days, but still Ethereum and the whole EVM ecosystem with different L2s and different projects coming up, it is more mature than other systems. And for me, one of the major reasons were the resources. So the resources to get into EVM space, learn Solidity, Go language has been widely spread and easily available. So I really look forward for the you developer experience, and this is one of the key reasons why I choose to go in the EVM. And in general, I'm pretty excited about what the future of EVM is, and there has been a lot of upcoming changes, like upcoming updates. I know in recent history it's been like there has been an overcommitment,
Yeah.
especially from Vitalik and the whole Ethereum Foundation. But yeah, things has been moving, and I'm really hoping that it will pick up space in EVM space. And yeah.
Yeah, like how you said, we still need the Ethereum layer, right? I've talked to a few people at Denver who are building L3s, and they're going away with like, well, we don't really like Ethereum because of XYZ problems, and I'm telling them,
Mm.
well, you still need L1. It can't go away. You can't just keep it L2, L3, and then move on.
Yeah.
Um, and I get it. We're all looking for scalability. We want things faster, cheaper, right? We want developers to be able to come on board and not just use
Mm.
Ethereum for wash trading, but to actually build real world applications. Speaking of applications, on your last hackathon that we met, you actually built something pretty cool. We'd love to kind of get a little bit more about. Let's start with tell us about the Project GK credit score and kind of what was the idea behind that, you and your team.
So my team, we were three people, me and my two cousins, Ishan and Ritik. So idea was very simple. ZK credit score addresses a fundamental issue in risk management of DeFi lending. So these protocols require excessive over collateralization, or they take a huge risk by lending loans to the Web3 users. Now, there are ways to calculate credit score for a crypto wallet, but none has been done using zero knowledge proofs, which is, I believe, there should be a fundamental privacy if you're calculating a credit score for a particular user. And calculating credit score just does not mean that you just check the transactions of how many tokens are there in this wallet. Basically, there has to be some complexity to this, like checking the historical transactions, checking how the balances has been updated from time to time. So this is what we focused on, and vlayer tech stack really helped us to get there quite easily, because if we go on and start the project from basic zk libraries, it would have not been completed in the hackathon. So vlayer, what I really liked about the whole team and vlayer is, of course, their protocols, like pretty easy to use them. You can use them, create a zk powered application and launch them for a mainstream developer like me. And I don't have much experience in zk prior the hackathon. So it was for me too easily to get into zk, understand it, make a product about it. And yeah, that was pretty much about our zk credit score that we made in eth global bangkok.
Yeah, I mean the project was really cool, and you are right. Like you can do this somewhat right now in some of the applications within DeFi, but not using a ton of zero knowledge proofs. I think the underlying technology, what that enables for privacy, from security, right? There's a lot of things that are really important. How do you feel with, let's say this project scales, and we can talk a little bit more about the potential for ZK's credit score and beyond. What does this look like to Web 2? Because one of the things that I've noticed in Web 2 is they look in our Web3 ecosystem and they look at some of these projects, whether they're DeFi related, DeSci, even just some of the meme coin, nonsense that we're experiencing right now. With your project in particular, how do you relate it to Web 2 where they can understand, how things work without it being overly, I guess, conceptualized around blockchain and decentralization? Because we typically do that a lot. We tend to use the vernaculars for blockchain Web3 to our Web 2 friends. And it's like, they don't necessarily need to hear all that, but what does it look like for Web 2?
I think the best way, not just for my project, ZK Credit Score, but I think most of the application which is powered by ZK Proofs is to have an abstraction layer and leave all the technical complexities in that abstraction layer. The application layer should be clean. This is what I believe in. I think this is how we will go forward and make applications that will be really get user friendly, will be easy to use, and will just do the job for the users. And I remember vlayer, the whole cryptography algorithm and everything was going in a different decentralized network. And as a mainstream developer, all we have to care about is implementing the zk proofs in our application. So there was an abstraction already going on, because we calculated the balances for different chains, historical balances on different networks, and this whole everything was like an abstraction. The user doesn't need to know about it. But yeah, of course, there needs to be some level of transparency. We just can't go on and do anything
Yeah, yeah.
in the abstraction layer. So I believe, yeah, that is, we should be prioritizing user experience while making the apps.
Yeah, 100%. I think we get in a concept where it's developers. I've heard this saying, devs over engineer products. It's just pretty standard, right? We kind of get an idea and a concept in our minds, and I've been guilty of this too, where you start to build something and you think it's great, and then you go and you share it with judges, or you go to the public, right? And they're like, I don't know if it's product market fit or it's ready for adoption quite yet. The UX is important. In addition to the UX, another challenge I've seen is UI when it comes to DApps. It feels like you have to be a little bit technical to interact with some of these dApps, and that's across all chains. It's not just EVMs. We're not going to just isolate them. Why do you think the UI has been sacrificed more or less when it comes to the DApps that are out there right now?
The UI part, I think one of the major reasons why UI are sacrificed is because of the cross-chain communication which I have seen in different L2s. I mean, that is the number one thing. So in my current job role as well, uh, I work at DXL. It's a meme coin platform, and we offer to mint tokens on different EVM chains. And the part where we faces most challenge, where we see a lot of drop in users, is the cross-chain communication between
Mhm.
these chains while minting the tokens. So we have to go to this chain, then switch the network, and then do minting and all, and then while trading, go to the different chain and all. Yeah, so that is where I feel like the UI breaks. Literally, the UI breaks. When we see any Web2 application, it's quite simple. You
Right.
connect your wallet or digital wallet in some kind, maybe by a bank account, and just this is smooth ride. But I believe yes. So this is one thing which I feel can be improved, and people are working on it. I met few people at the DevCon in last year, and they really are working on it. And with the introduction of different omni-chain abstractions, and a lot of things is going on. So I believe this will be solved in coming future.
I sure hope so, because I think in Web 2, one thing that makes it easy for, like, we think about, take example, Venmo, right? Nobody really cares about the underlying technology and how it works. I understand how it
Mhm.
works. You probably do too. But the UI is so seamless, right? That even my grandparents can use it and send money to each other, and right, and then have a little ledger that says, what the transaction was for. It's all about the UX and UI. And I think I'm hoping in 2025 we start to see a little bit more of a push towards that, because if we get stuck on just talking about, well, this is a blockchain app, you're going to turn away a lot of people, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't,
One
yeah,
more thing which I recently also came across in this field was if the pundits of Web3 and blockchain wants to onboard 1 billion users, and it is simply not possible if we do not abstract the complexities of different L2, different L1s, and everything. We just can't go ahead and ask people to onboard themselves in the crypto wallets and different blockchain applications if we cannot solve this. So, as a developer and person who has been into Web3, this is, I believe, the number one problem that needs to be solved. We need to make the whole application, not just the whole application, the developer experience, the way interactions happen in different blockchain easier for both the developers and especially the users.
yep.
I'm really looking forward to it in 2025.
100%. The DX is you need devs, like Steve Ballmer said, developers, 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 right? It starts with them.
Mhm.
They're the fundamental, like, linchpin in order to enable other protocols to be built, new tooling, and ultimately end up at the application layer where we can get projects that can build. And when I say projects, I'm not talking about projects that focus on TVL. I'm talking about revenue,
Yeah.
business plans, right? Models, things that you don't hear. The R word doesn't get used a lot in Web3, but that's really what it is. We want to build companies on blockchain, not just dApps. And I think we
Yeah.
got to start to shift our mindset on what does it look like to build a project in a decentralized ecosystem. And it isn't just meaning I want a nice, cute little app that can be utilized and leveraged by end users here or there. We want to actually build real world companies that bridge the
Mm.
Web 2, Web 3 gap, which is and it starts, like you said, with the DevX.
AI
Um,
agents has been picking up. AI agent seems to be something, if used wisely, can solve this problem uh, in the coming months, I believe, because the AI can interact on the behalf of the user. It can handle all the complexities. But yeah, there I feel like there is a lot of challenge yet to be taking AI to solve the problems in the Web3. There needs
yeah,
to be a lot of people need to sit down, figure out a lot of things, and probably will take time. But the way AI has been taking over the world, it's not very far. We'll be start to seeing AI agents on different D apps, moving stuff, moving funds,
hmm,
and there's a possibility that we can see AI wallets. The AI
yeah.
wallets will take care about for the user. You just have to sit, manage, and let the AI manage your funds. But it comes with a lot of security concerns. Yes.
Yes, yes. Security is number one. I know it's not sexy, And people don't care about security until it affects them, until their
Yeah.
wallet has been exposed and they get
Yeah.
hacked. And they love to hear more about security. But getting into like some of the tooling, or specifically within language, obviously we all know Solidity is a prominent language within the EVM ecosystem. As a Solidity developer, what do you see are some of the limitations right now that as you've been kind of building out using it? And what were some of the things you'd like to start to see kind of added to it, if you will?
In Solidity, I think the reason I believe one of the major challenges in Solidity is tremendous scaling. It has scaling potential, but we have to see where, from which bandwidth we can scale the Solidity, not just as a language, but as a major programming framework to develop contracts. I think the introduction of ZK would be really great thing. Making privacy centered dApps using Solidity would be a great thing. And I think VLayer is quite working on it. I see you brand it as a Solidity 2.0 approach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I get to it, I really see you are abstracting the ZK cryptography layer, and that is something awesome. It could be the next step. It could be the next step where people can go ahead and just use V layer to make the ZK part of their application.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you can do it right. I mean, you remember when some of the languages in Web 2, I mean, we would, I think VLayer would love to be the JavaScript of Solidity, right? I mean, just something where everybody knows. But it's going to take time to build out. And I think we can't sacrifice security, privacy, right, and efficiency. And I think without those, then you're going to have some, cool iterations on the expansion of popular languages like Solidity, but they still will find its inherited limitations. And so very excited about the future of that. Any final things you would like to share with our community around like what you've built? How can they get involved if they're interested, or how can they get involved with you? Anything that you want to share with them?
Yeah, sure, sure. So in 2025, I will be again continue to participate in hackathon. So, and we are like, I'm always building some projects, side projects, someone for innovation. So I think with this, I would like to send a message. If anyone would like to connect with me, you guys can connect with me on X. My handle is Lovishb.eth, the name which I've given in this meeting. And just ping me up. We'll see if we can build something, maybe participate in a hackathon. And if anyone watching this have really cool idea which they really want to build, I'm the guy. Just
There
text
we go.
me. We'll figure it out.
That's right. We'll put this all in the description below. I mean, it's all about community camaraderie. We all need to work together. That's why I love Web3, is that we aren't just looking at ourselves as silos and kind of competing with one another, right? We're kind of a big family. It's a one
Yeah,
unit. And
completely agree.
you need that in order for us to really get to this adoption. I really hope 2025, even not just with VLayer, but all the great projects that are out there building great tooling and protocols, frameworks, can really start to kind of grow this ecosystem to where we can start to shift out of this bubble and move in towards an actual adoption curve from the Web 2 industry. I think it's needed. We've sat around with our kind of ideas around what might work, in terms of transitioning Web 2 to Web 3, but now's the time to really kind of get this going. So I'm looking forward to it.
I also agree. Web3 blockchain, first of all, needs good developers, and we need to come together and solve a real world problem. If we are able to accomplish these two things, Web3, the philosophy of the Web3, right?
Mhm.
We want to see different decentralized organization. We want to see, all the artists going ahead and basically creating NFTs of their work. And the only way to go through is we need to solve real world problems.
Yes.
And honestly, we haven't been solving real world problems for a very long time. Apart from cross border payments, we need to find other places to solve problems. Yeah.
And you're the guy to do it. So you heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Pingham will put his connect stuff in the description below for his hacks. Connect with him. And then obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to ping him, and obviously myself, and continue to follow VLayer. Appreciate your time, Lovish. This has been a great chat, and looking forward to seeing you at some future hackathons, my friend.
Sure, Scott. Thanks a
All right,
lot.
have a good one.
Great to meet you.